Hey guys, it's Full Cards here, live and direct from Brooklyn, New York, as the sun is fading and negating us in Brooklyn. So in front of me today, I have a box of 2008-2009 Artifacts, and it's a retail box. Artifacts is notorious for having nothing in it except for parallels and an odd jersey, particularly on the retail side. But for under 20 bucks, you can potentially go for it. 22 bucks, I'd say, no more than that. It says they're $2.99 per pack. That would amount to like $70 for this box, for a retail box, if you bought the packs individually. That seems nonsensical. What do you need to know? 2008-2009, of course, we do have a good rookie class in Stammer, in Peter Angelo, and Doughty, and Giroux, and Pacioretty, I believe. And the problem with that is some of those cards are redemptions. So there's a tiered checklist 1 to 100, then there's, I believe, legends, and then stars, and then you do have rookies and rookie redemptions. So you can see there, legends, stars, rookies, 1 of 20. What else can you matriculate from this? You can also see that there are parallels, 1 of 80, treasured swatches, frozen artifacts. So you do have relic cards, but the relic cards are not as nice as the relics that are inserted within the hobby boxes. So it's another thing worth noting and annotating and being cognizant of. With regard to the parallels, one thing you should know about the parallels is that there are silver parallels numbered to 100. So those are the kind of things we'd be looking for. What else would there be? Hopefully I can crack this Doughty open, or Dudette, and there we go. So yeah, there's silver parallels, I think, numbered to 100, gold parallels numbered to, we do have a seal on this thing. I don't know why this is Fort Knox, considering it's mostly base in here, but maybe that's just how they do it. One thing that's kind of nice about these retail boxes is they actually look kind of nice. The design is pretty nice for Artifacts. It's a sort of classical design, almost a Old West design or industrial age design. So that's something worth being mindful of. And also note, we do have the great one, Wayner, on the cover. So we would expect mostly base with a few inserts and so on, and you could potentially get an Autofax, which are the autos, but those are probably long shots in the retail. So here we go, man. We got Jason Arnott. Man, these are going to be hard to read. There's Paul Kariya. I have a friend in Denmark who wants all my Paul Kariya cards. It's hilarious. Rick Nash, Simon Gagné. And so here we have our first parallel, number to 100, and it would be Jason Spezza. So that's kind of cool. A nice little Jason Spezza, who sort of reinvented himself in recent years with Dallas, etc. I like it. I actually like that card. It's actually pretty nice. I don't mind the silver tips. So that would be our first numbered card. We would expect to get a lot of numbered cards. I don't know if some of these are thicker than others. It's hard to diagnose. Put that aside, assuming it might be a bit thicker, but who knows. Oh, we do have dummies in here as well. So there you go. And this is very retail forward. So you're in Target and you steal it. You steal a $2.99 pack and then they nail you. So don't steal, kids. Do not fetishize my cards. Let's continue on here. So we do have Manny Legacy. We do have Nick Backstrom, who is a wizard and underrated player. We have Daniel Sedin. And we do have Storm and Dion Phaneuf, as well as Henrik retired Zetterberg. So silver parallels to 100, gold parallels to 75, blues would be up to 50, I believe. Then there's like copper spectrum, so there's some other ones to look out for as well. Thomas Vanek, there's Bobby Lou Luongo, there's Timo Solani, Chichu, and Eric Stahl. I did not show you the back of the cards, but I shall now. So all these base cards should run the 1 to 100 checklist, so just base checklists. There are high number cards, which are both stars and legends of the games. You can even hit a legendary coach such as Scotty Bowman. that's something to be cognizant of as well. Sun's fading, of course, here in Brooklyn, as it always does when I do this. So there's Paul Stastny, who's been injured, the son of Peter Stastny, I believe. There were 3 Stastny brothers, and then the son. There's Alex Tanguay, also played for the Habs. And there's a really nice one of Matt Sundin. There's Patty Kane. I believe this is a second-year card of Patty Kane. And here is the Jason Spezza in comparison and contrast to the silver tip parallel and the silver back on the parallel as well. So that's the difference. So of course we're getting the numbered cards, which is exactly what we would self-diagnose in a retail box of the infamous artifacts rife with commons and base, so to speak. There's Mark Messier, recently surpassed by Jagger on the all-time list of points. He is now 3rd, I believe. And here's Ryan Getzlaf, who's probably moving up the list himself in all-time points. He'll be there at some point because he's had such a significant career. So this feels thick. So does this actually. But I don't know if in 2008, so this is something Zero 11 would know in 2008 whether or not they had dummies within them. Oh, this is cool. So this is one of the legends, and we actually hit Mr. Hockey, and interestingly enough, it's written Mr. Hockey on the side as opposed to Gordie Howe, so that's really cool. So that's 63. That's actually surprising. I thought the legends list is from above 100. So it just happens to be that there are a couple of legends interwoven into the base checklist. So this is actually a base card. I'll put it aside nonetheless. There's the Kipper, who was recently surpassed by Pecorini in terms of all-time wins by a Finnish goalie. There's Mario, also a legend interwoven. And Jiggy, the goalie. So we could should theoretically get at least 1 jersey card. We could theoretically get 2. I do not think we're going to get an auto. We could get a rookie redemption. So that's something to be mindful of. Look at this. Here's Bobby Hull. Also, I think the difference between the base set ones and the legends is I think their coloring's a bit different too, so it would be easier to see them. And here's Marc-Andre Fleury, one of my favorite players, if not my favorite player in the NHL. I have so many of his rookie cards, it's getting ridiculous because I bought so many of the old school boxes at cheap price. Another one of these, just to catch a thief. Oh, here's Gilbert Perreault. That's really nice. He was a legend on the Sabres. Sabres are coming along, man. They're online. That game the other day with Matthews scoring the winner. I posted a video, actually, of that, annotating it a bit. Brad Boys. That's Anze Kopitar. That would be Ryan Miller. And this would happen to be Kari Lehtinen, who's made his way through the NHL from team to team. Goalies really do journey a lot because of the ebbs and flows in their confidence and how the game changes so much and the equipment does. They end up all over the place. Shane Doan, who's retired. There's Cam Ward, Pavel Datsyuk. Pretty nice one here of the King. And this would be, can you read that? It's Mike Richards, obviously. So all of these thus far appear to be just base checklist stuff. Top of the last card on the checklist is actually Ryan Getzlaf. So this is the whole thing about these retail boxes, man. They are base. So you can complete your base set if that's what you want to do. They're actually nice sets. So I think that would be the one way to look at it. I would not, this is not about memorabilia. Good luck with that. You'd be better off buying it on eBay, really, which is a better way to build your set. Jason Arnott, that's the second one of his. There's some duplication as well. There's another Paul Kariya. So this entire pack seems to be a duplicate of one of the first packs I've opened. So that, again, there's Jonathan Toews, though, who's, again, his rookie year, like Patrick Kane, like Carey Price, was 2007, 2008 within the hockey world, even though they were drafted different years. Another one of Pavel Datsyuk. Tim Thomas, a Stanley Cup winning goaltender. Penner. I mean, it's really hard to see the names. You get Vukun, who's another total journeyman. He even played with the Penguins. And there's Gino Malkin. So nothing thus far, man. But I am putting some packs up to the side, which I feel thicker. Weighting them on my pinky. Unfortunately, it's getting a bit dark in here. I don't know if I can adjust the light a bit without wrecking all your eyes or y'all eyes. There's Daniel Briere, who kind of fizzled out at the end of his career, although he had flashes early. Daniel Alfredson. That's Guerin. That's Patty Marleau. It's a nice card of Patty Marleau. He's a legend in his own right. He's moving up the checklist of all-time points. I believe he's around 30 at this point, so he is certainly someone worth. I think that might be in terms of all-time goals. He's definitely got. Oh, there's something in here. Oh no, this is just an insert. It's actually an interesting question as to where he is exactly on that checklist. In terms of the goals all-time, he's definitely in the 30 neighborhood. Timo Solani, Mark Savard. It's a nice one of Mark Messier. Handsome one of Mark Messier. There's Brendan Shanahan, who you probably know from the Red Wings, the Rangers, the Whalers, and now Toronto. And so we did get one of these stars. So this is actually really nice. It's a numbered card. So this is 151. So this actually means it's probably a parallel as well. So it is numbered to 100. So these stars cards, the silver versions are numbered to 100. So this is considered a silver version of OV. OV is actually the first card on the checklist of the stars cards, and you can see that in the back is silver, so this is a silver parallel of a high numbered card, and it is number 23 of 100. So that's kind of cool. So that's our second fairly nice card. That's what you're targeting. These cards are also pretty good for kids because they show the history of the game. Continuing on here, there we have Sidney the Kidney. That's nice. And we have a second year card of Carey Price. So I'll sort of extract those two just for posterity. There's Ilya Kovalchuk before he disappeared to the KHL, etc. This feels a bit thicker too. I shall open it nonetheless. And I know why it's thicker. It's thicker because it has a divider in it. There's another Getzlaf. Oh, that's pretty nice. We do have a Marty Brodeur card, 42. And this is also a legend. Again, on the base checklist, at the top of the base checklist, we have a Bobby Orr. We also have a Dominator, as well as I think it's a Zerdev card. Man, some of these feel super thick. I'm hoping to get at least one of the jersey cards. I'll assume and postulate that I will get at least one, as terrible as Artifacts is. For 20 bucks, they'll allow you to have one. So this is kind of cool. There's a Vesa Toskala. That's a Josh Harding, who served as a pretty decent backup for a while. There's Nick Lidstrom. And look at that. We have Larry Robinson. Compare and contrast to my Larry Robinson auto from OPG Platinum. Looks like it's the same year, got the same mustache. Larry was a beast. He is first overall in the history of the game in plus minus at 700 plus 760 or something. I can put the exact figure underneath the video. I'll put that there, and that would be Gabrick. Still a few more packs to open, still hoping for a few more inserts, hoping not to hit a Stamkos because that would be a redemption card. There's Steen. Jack Johnson. That would be Danny Heatley. Here's Phil the Thrill. It's a nice one to Phil the Thrill. Of course, Phil the Thrill was initially with the Beans, with Beantown. Before Toronto, before Pittsburgh, before 2 rings. Good for him. He's, you know, Phil the Thrill, you can, you know, despise him, but the thing about Phil the Thrill is he's the kind of guy, a little bit like Vince Carter, he's much better as a 2 or 3, as a supporting character, given his temperament and the type of player he is. He's not the kind of person who you want to hold the entire, balance the entire organization on their shoulders. Here's Saku Koivu, a really sick-looking Saku Koivu. I think that was Jordan Stahl, wasn't it? It would have been early in his career. Really hard to see the Nabokov. Oh, look at this. Look at this Patrick Roy. This is a beautiful card. This is just, again, just a beautiful base card, and it's Patrick. So here is Legends. I know who it is right away. It's Dale Hawerchuk. Dale Hawerchuk, he's definitely up on the list of in all-time points, probably 15 or something of that nature. He's definitely one of the top point getters in the history of the game. I can put that exact figure below. Dale Hawerchuk. So that's awesome. I really, really like that. He never won a Stanley Cup, obviously because the Jets had never won the Cup. Yzerman did, but Yzerman was better surrounded by Hawerchuk. He and Yzerman probably have very similar point totals, but Yzerman played far more games, and I can put that quant under the video as well. Continuing on here, Drew Stafford. If I miss anything, just let me know. Look at this, Mike Bossy. Really cool. And there's Vinny Le Cavalier. So I put a couple of packs aside, thinking they're a bit thicker, but we shall see. Shells by the seashore. See, it's thicker because it has that in there. I'm actually kind of liking this break because my expectations are so low and lower. There's Rick Nash, Thomas Vanek, a pretty decent one of Roberto Luongo again. Nathan Horton, and Marty St. Louis. He is now a Hall of Famer, HOF, which is something I'm pretty proud of, just because he of course started his career on Calgary, but he was diminutive, a little bit like Theo Fleury, and rose to the absolute heights of the game. That's Joe Thornton. Joe Thornton's gliding right up the list of all-time assists. He will be in the top 5 or something to that effect. But in no time, he's probably, I think he's been running around 10 or something. Mike Camilleri, Joe Sakic, and there's OV. So loads of legends intermixed. Some of them might have been still playing, which would sort of account for some of it. But it's interesting that you have legends in the base checklist, and then you have a legends checklist. Crazy. I got another one of these things. So I've gotten like nothing thus far, except for those few inserts. Continuing on, but this is why I'm always vexed, and everybody's vexed about artifacts, because that's the name of the artifacts game. It's really about these base cards. There's Peter Stastny. That's kind of cool. That's a pretty decent looking card. Rick DiPietro, drafted 1st overall. That was a bit of a mistake, perhaps. I can't remember. I think it was around 2000. It's a lot of pressure on a goalie. You don't think goalies have enough pressure to be drafted 1st overall? So 2 more packs. Do you think one of these has an insert? What do you think? Well, let's go for it. I'll do this one first. Just looking for one. And no. Oh my God. Dude, I mean, so this just has a blank in there. This is, I mean, artifacts, man. Here's Marty Brodeur, another one of Robert Orr, Bobby Orr, whose last year was with Chicago, and he's hoping to play more games, and he is too many. You know, he had something like 16 surgeries on his legs, even more depending on sort of smaller interventions. That's Leach, and that would be Wayner. So we have this nice Wayner card. Last pack, last gasp. Oh, I can't believe it. Did we? Oh, we got one thing. We got something. Can you imagine? We actually got something. It's going to be lackluster, but anyways. Brad Boys. Another Anze Kopitar. So, another one of these things. Okay, so we have Patrick Sharp. We have Marian Hossa. I once spiked his auto in SPX. And here it would be our last gasp. I don't know, are there two cards here? No, that's hard to tell. I might have to divide those up. Okay, let's see. Let's see, man. Treasured swatches. It's Carolina. Eric Stahl. Okay, it's an Eric Stahl card. That's not bad. Pretty decent looking card. It's just a plain white. See, the hobby boxes have patches and intricate things. This is not very intricate, not particularly beautiful, but this is exactly the type of thing you would get within a box of retail. You would get a Carolina Hurricane, and you would get, it would only be one of them, and it'd be in your last pack. And I believe these are two cards stuck together. Okay, man, so that's basically it. Okay, guys, time for the recap of 2008-2009 Artifacts Hockey from Upper Deck. Retail box, sadly, unfortunately, but $20, this is what you get. Two big stacks of the base. In fact, we did get more than that. The base, we got duplicates, we got doubles, we got triples, because it's a retail box, but we did get a couple of nice ones from the base checklist, including a Wayne Gretzky, a Peter Stastny, who's Paul's father. We got Mike Bossy, who has one of the highest points per game ratio in the game, along with Sid the Kid and Mario and the Wayner, etc., and Lafleur. We did get a Patrick Roy, who's the second winningest goalie in the game. We got Saku Koivu and Larry Robinson, the best top plus minus in the history of the game. We did get the Dominator, who's one of the best shutout totals in the history of the game. We did get Bobby Orr, arguably the best player to play the game along with Wayne. We did get Marty Brodeur. Bobby Orr, Marty Brodeur, say that 10 times fast. Most winningest goaltender in the history of the game. We've got Sid the Kid. We've got Bobby Hull, who sort of introduced the hardest slap shot. There's Mario, and of course, Mr. Hockey himself. And all that was, these were only base cards. So it's kind of cool. That's the beauty of it. It actually teaches the history of the game to kids for $20 a box. In terms of our inserts, super lackluster, man, I must say. We did get this OV numbered card. So this is actually one of these stars in the stars checklist, which run from 150 probably to 200. The nice thing about it is this is actually one of the parallels of that short print. It is numbered to 100, so it's numbered 23 to 100. So that is worth sort of mentioning, the fact that this is actually a silver parallel. We also got a base silver parallel, and this one would be of Jason Spezza. Again, it would be a silver parallel, and the silver parallels, as mentioned, are numbered to 100, so this would happen to be 17 of 100. Silver tipped, pretty nice, not bad. And that's what you get in these retail boxes. You get these parallels. I did get a legend, so that's really kind of groovy. Legend of Dale Hawerchuk. This legend does happen to be numbered, so that's something I was not sort of cognizant of initially, but it is numbered to 999. So I believe this is a base legend. The base legends are all numbered to 999. Unless you have a silver or gold. Golds are to 75, blues are to 50. But I got Dale Hawerchuk, who's one of the highest point getters in the history of the game. Very much similar numbers to Stevie Yzerman, except he doesn't have a cup because he played on worse teams. And Stevie Y played more games. And finally, I do have a treasured swatch, a base white swatch, which is what you get in the retail boxes. You don't get the sort of beautiful patches as you do in the hobby boxes, unfortunately. So that's the difference. If you pay $20 as opposed to $75, etc. Nonetheless, I did get one of these bad boys, and it's just a base white jersey. It would happen to be of Eric Stahl, who's had a pretty illustrious career at this point, I'd say. So that's basically it, guys. That would happen to be the loot as the sun fades again and negates us again in Brooklyn. And please subscribe, please provide a like, even if you dislike, provide a comment if you dislike something. I think it's easier for me to adjust that way. And subscribe, please, and tell more people about these breaks. I'm actually giving cards away. I will give boxes such as these in their entirety away to people who help me, I guess, grow my little network of fascination for the hobby. Phone cards live and direct from Brooklyn, New York.